What's good, everyone? I'm back. I was sick for a while, so sorry I couldn't upload the week before. My wife had to come in and she made a great video about what to do with chargeback, but I'm back now, feeling a lot better. In this video, I want to cover what are the fundamentals you need for a funding company. Now, if you're somebody who's already established making more than 20K per month, this video is not for you. This video is for the people who are looking to start a funding company and looking for pretty much what is the blueprint, what is the roadmap. I get this question asked fairly often. I'm like, hey, what is the few things that I need to get everything going? And that's one of the main reasons why I'm making this video. So when somebody asks this question, I can send them the video. So if you're somebody who's more advanced, please don't watch this video. It's definitely not for you. Now, this is for the people that want to start a funding company and don't really know the essentials or everything they need in order to start. And that's what we're going to cover in this video. Without further ado, let's jump right into it. So the fundamentals of a funding company. First, we're going to start off with what is a funding company, right? If we don't know what it is, how can we operate one? So a business that help other business or entrepreneurs secure capital, plain and simple. That's what a funding company is. You're pretty much helping other businesses or new entrepreneurs establish their LLC, optimize their credit for they could apply for funding. That's pretty much what you're gonna do. Now, what are some sort of funding? Now, we could go very deep on the different products, but this is the ones that I know and the one that I've used the most is 0% credit card stacking. This is the one that I was able to scale my company to 300K per month. And then later on, about a couple of months ago, we started implementing lines of credit. And then there's one more that's called MCAs, but these are very high interest based lending. I haven't done much of these. I've only sold a couple, maybe less than 10. So not really too much of a big fan of this one just because the high entrance. Our bread and butter has been always been credit card stacking, but now we move into different verticals just because well, I don't want to get into that, but yeah, the more products you have, the more you can make per client. So that's why we go into different offers, different funding offers. Okay. So what is the next thing? Core idea. Funding is the lifeblood of any business. This is a timeless offer. Big opportunity. Companies always needed capital to start, scale, or survive. So how important is this offer? Extremely. It's one of the oldest businesses in the book. You're just trying to get a dollar, sell it for two, and it's a very wide offer. Not like what business is not gonna need more capital, right? And then what business can't operate with that capital. So it's a very important offer or a important piece in every industry is actually providing funding or getting access to funding to start or scale your business. So if you're looking to start the business or you're looking to add funding into your credit repair or tax, or if you're from the financial industry and you want to add this as a secondary product for your business, this is a great offer to have just because, like I just said, it's just a wide range of offer that you got applies for so many different people. So really big opportunity. If you want to save money, it's never going to go away. Okay. So number two, who is this business for? So ideally, anybody in the credit space, ex-bankers, salespeople, consultants, or marketers. The reason why I say salespeople or marketers is because in reality, this is a marketing and sales company, meaning the main thing that drives the business forward is sales and marketing. If you don't have a good sales skills, it's very difficult to scale the business because you got to be able to close the deals the leads that you're generating. And if you're a really good marketer, this is also a really good offer because this is how I started. I was just a really good marketer and I started doing my own thing on the online space, and I was able to scale my company to 300K per month just pure on sales and marketing. So it's a very good offer if you have those two skills already. Now, if you're already in the credit space, it's very good because you can apply for funding if you don't have good credit. So both of the businesses really work with together. I work right now with a lot of credit companies that added funding into their arsenal or products so they can increase LTV and multiple things. Ex-banker is very important because if you already I've already worked in, let's say, Bank of America or Chase, and you want to have a product to sell, this is perfect for you because you already have the nuance of the product. You already have dealt with a bunch of clients. So like this is perfect for you. Now you just got to sell the same thing you were doing for a 9 to 5, but as your own service. Another thing is anybody who's passionate about helping other people to start or scale a business. This is another extra layer that if you actually are genuine passionate about helping people, optimize their credit, make sure the LC is structured correctly, and help them apply for funding to start and scale their business. This is a great offer for you because it's a really people offer. You have to work with individuals in order to set them up correctly so they could maximize their funding potential. So if you're somebody who does like working with businesses and likes to actually help them in multiple areas to bring them value, great offer to have. Okay. No need to be a full credit repair expert. If you can explain value, follow the process, and sell effectively, you can succeed. Key skills to win: understanding a professional slash business, personal slash business credit basics, strong communication, sales, and ability, willingness to learn about the funding product and processes. So this is pretty much what I was saying, that if you have a good sales skills, you're gonna have a great time over here. This is honestly the number one reason if somebody fails or not, because when we work with our clients, we could give you all the marketing systems you need, we could give you all the funnels you need, implement a bunch of AI tools, give you all the whole 9 yards. But if you can't close the deal that we provide you, it's very difficult to scale, right? So it makes sense. Understanding personal business credit, this is crucial. Even if you're not having a funding company or you don't want to get into space, you must understand personal and business credit. This will change your life forever. It did for me. Once I started understanding personal and business credit, that's really when I started leveling up in my life, because I started borrowing a bunch of debt. I was able to start a really successful business that eventually, long story short, I lost a ton of money in, but the big first year and a half was very profitable. But shit happens. So I digress. Willingness to learn funding product and processes. This is normal for any entrepreneurs. If you're not willing to learn and know new systems and new strategy as you grow the business, then you're pretty much always going to stay stagnant and stay stuck in one place. So you need to learn and be a student of the game. That's like normal stuff. Okay. Let's go to number 3. Pick your business model. So this is something that you really want to be very mindful of. Do you want to do a done for you service, or do you want to do a done with you service? I scaled my funding company to 300K per month with was a done with you service, meaning that it was like coaching slash teach, meaning and a little bit of done for you. So it was like a small percentage of done for you and then a larger percentage of coaching and teaching. But if you want to do the done for you service, this one you can charge a lot more. For example, for the done with you, I was charging $6,000. For the done for you, people are charging $10,000 or even $12,000. I've seen in some scenarios. And sometimes if you charge a flat, not a flat rate, a percentage rate, you can even make 15 to 20 grand per deal, which is a lot bigger, but it's all done for you. So you got to really pretty much pick which one of these two models you want to go with. In my personal opinion, if you're more experienced, you could do done for you. If you're less experienced, you could do done with you. So done with you is essentially you help the individuals understand the fundamentals of getting their profile funded, their credit optimized, the LC structure correctly, the right data points, maybe put them in contact with an RM or two so they could kind of do the process themselves, but you're walking in with them in the entire process. It's a done with them service. Done for you, pretty more self-explanatory. You do everything for them. That means, helping up their credit, optimizing their LLC, or restructuring the LLC, I would just say, and then getting them approved for the funding. You provide the data points, you do everything for them, so they pretty much don't have to let the thing go. All they got to do is pay you, and you do all the work. Okay. So there's direct funding. So you can manage credit review and funding in-house, higher margins per more operative complexity. So this is what I was talking about. If you are doing the done for you, yeah, you're gonna get more margins, you are gonna be more profitable, but it's more complexity. There's it's harder to scale. You need a bigger team. So it has its pros and cons. I should talk a little bit more deeper on this in a different video, which I got onto of pretty much what are the positives, like pros and negatives of done with you and done for you. That's a video for the future. Hybrid model. You can sell in-house and outsource fulfillment to trusted partners. So let's say if you want to scale as fast as possible, definitely partner up with somebody in the space that is already knowledgeable, that already has a lot of experience, already funded multiple millions of dollars. And this is honestly the fastest way to scale. When clients work with us and they do want to be like, okay, Javi, I have my good sales skills, my ads are crushing it right now, I want to crank up the volume, I want to do more. And in order to bypass hiring, training, and deploying a person into the business, they could delegate the fulfillment to us, and that way they could grow much faster, because they don't have to worry about onboarding, nurturing, and fulfillment and offboarding. We take care of the whole thing the process for them. So you can find somebody like that, or if you decide to join our program and where we help you scale, start start and scale your funding company, you can do that. You can start delegating your fulfillment on us, and we could do that as well. Okay. So your choice impacts setup cost, scalability, and speed to market. So pretty much what I'm saying, if you want to delegate everything to somebody, you're gonna grow much faster. It's gonna be more expensive, but you're gonna grow, as you know, you're gonna hit those 50 to 100K per month a lot sooner. If you want to build it in-house, it's gonna be a longer time till you get to those numbers, but you're gonna be way more profitable because everything is in-house. So you can expect a 1x or 2x less cost. For example, if you want to dedicate something to us, we could do 50% share profit. So if we get somebody funded 100 grand, we charge them $10,000. Let's just say we do back in percentages. You get 5 grand, we get 5 grand. Now, if you do in-house, that 5 grand, you can literally pay somebody a salary of 5 grand and they could do 10 deals per month for you. So, but it's a way longer curve. You get me? It takes a lot longer to find somebody that's actually knows what the hell they're doing. They can actually, you can actually trust and rely and actually do volume. So it just has pros and cons. You got to decide which one you want to go to. Okay. Number 4, understanding credit and funding basics. So this is just literally the basics of the basics of the basics, right? If you don't have a 700 plus credit score, very difficult to fund, especially when it comes to credit card stacking. Now, you can be at 650 or plus. If you want to do other different types of loans, it will definitely work. But ideally, if you want to do credit card stacking, your profile needs to be optimized and the best as possible. You need to have utilization below 20%, ideally 10%, the lower the better, to be completely real with you, and minimize hard inquiry. Almost none. If maybe one each bureau, but if you can have no hard increase per bureau, you have a much easier time. Now, business credit, identity structure, LLC or corp. You know, you can pick each one. They're both, you know, you can fund each, an LLC or an S corp or C corp. You can fund each, whichever one you want. EIN, bank account, and basic compliance of just pretty much the basic things you need from a business. Master one method. 0% credit card before adding more. Yeah, so pretty much what I'm trying to say here is master one product, and then once you have that product, like what we did with credit card stacking, then you can diversify your different types of products of funding, so you can provide more products and increase your LTV. For example, you can get somebody, let's say 80 grand of credit card stacking, then you can get another, let's say 50 grand of lines of credit, and then maybe you can get another 80 to 150 grand of like maybe MCAs or revenue-based lending, depending on the individual and what is their situation, right? And that way, instead of making just 5 or 6 grand per client, you can make 10, 15, 20, whatever you want to charge, depending backend, or just upfront fee, depending on each product, okay? So now, number 5, very important. This is actually the main reason why people join our program, is because they don't have a consistent way to acquire clients. So they haven't fixed the client acquisition problem. They rely on referrals, word of mouth, and then we come in with the ads, we come in with the system so they could generate leads consistently. So very important. If you don't have leads, you don't have a business. So YouTube content, this is the organic one. So you can do YouTube content, IG Reels, testimonials, case studies, show success stories, credibility, build trust. So I have more detail on this in other videos, but ideally organic is very difficult to calculate and quantify on when you get a next deal, but it's something you must do, because if you do paid ads in organic, that's when the real magic happens. You have 2 ways of generating traffic, and this with the sweet spot happens, okay? If you're not good at creating content, this is something you must get into, because creating content builds trust, builds credibility, builds a bunch of different things, builds your brand. And in this day and age, if you want to be ahead of the curve, you want to have some sort of content, because you want to build that trust factor before somebody even gets to know you or books a call with you, okay? Now, if you want to put fuel to the fire, that's when you get into paid ads. Paid ads is when you already know you have a proven offer. You already know you can sell. You already know that, okay, I have onboarded a few people. I have gotten a few people results. Maybe let's say 2 to 3 or 5 a month. And I really want to get to 10, 20 deals per month. That's when I would say, come and start spending money on ads. You know, if you have no skills, if you're starting brand new, if you had no capital to invest, Don't start paid ads, because if you have only $1,000 to spend, it might take all your money, right? You have to be, especially if you don't have the good sales skills, if you don't have the good funnels, if you don't know what good ads is, you don't want to be testing and figuring out stuff with your last $1,000. You're gonna most likely lose it and not make an ROI on it. That's why you gotta be very difficult. Not You got to be very precise and pick the moment there when exactly you want to do ads. It's not like, okay, I have $1,000, let me put this on ads, because if you don't have the right funnels in place, you don't have the right ad structures in place, you don't have the right sales skills, you're honestly going to lose a bunch of money. So you got to be very, you got to pick the perfect time in order to run ads. So other strategies to generate leads is build referral partners or networking. These two are very slow because, God knows when you can find a really good referral partners that could send you traffic, that could send you leads. A good example is like with us, we had an Airbnb coach that was sending constantly Airbnb, his Airbnb mentees that they just joined his program. Then they needed 20 or 30K just to get funded. It was low amounts, but it was very good for us because we were only charging $3,000 for these services. We didn't have to pay for the lead. The lead came in, it was already qualified. We showed them, our partners, exactly what we needed in order to have a profile that's qualified, and it was really good. They send us leads for almost a year and a half. So if you can find some of these partners, it could be a mentor, it could be an Airbnb coach, real estate coach, it could be any different types of mentors that they have a program where once their mentee joins, you can provide funding for those mentees. If you can find somebody like this, that they could, since they're growing, they're constantly getting new clients, they could send you a couple per month. This is a really good partnership, but it takes a while to build. It's not easy. It's not something that you build literally in 1 week. It could take months. Also with the networking and doing masterminds, going to events, this is something that it takes compound effort. It's not going to happen immediately. I would not recommend building a business just based off this because it's very inconsistent. Like referral partners and networking and organic, this is something that compounds over time. You have to literally do this for a couple months, and then eventually you start seeing results. You start seeing like the your effort starts to compound. The only way that I found out how to literally generate traffic ASAP, that you can literally put an ad today and make it sell tomorrow, has been through paid ads. There's honestly no other way. You could get lucky and put a piece of content that you release and it brings you some sort of traffic and you make a sale, but that is just so rare. Like, point 1% chance of that happening. There is just like so rare of that happening. That's why I don't recommend just completely relying on these strategies. But if you do all three, you're gonna have a good time. If you do all three, they start to compound, especially having ads, having organic, and having referrals. If you have these three working simultaneously, you will be a successful company. But it takes, organic takes time, referrals take time. So don't expect to start this and within a month to be at a 10 or 20, 30K per month. It's not gonna happen. Okay, you need to build these things up. But just letting you know. Now, tools and tech stack. So this is pretty much all the tools and softwares you're gonna need if you want to have a successful business. You're going to have to need this. There's no way about it. Okay. Number one is a CRM. Go high level HubSpot on Monday. If you don't want to build these things out, you can definitely reach out to me on Instagram, or you can leave, tell me a comment below. Hey, have you really need help setting these systems out? There's another reason why a lot of our clients join us, because they don't have the right system in place, pretty much the right funnel, CRM, and we build it out for you. So if you're not really tech heavy and you don't know all this stuff, you can hire us to build it for you, or just look online. There's plenty on YouTube videos online on how to set up these things, but it could take forever. So if you want to bypass, you can definitely hire us and we'll build it for you. But essentially, you need a CRM. For us, Go High Level is a CRM. By the way, if you don't know what CRM is, a client relationship management tool. So one is we use Go High Level for marketing and sales. So pretty much our Go High Level for the front end. The back end, we use Monday, which is where we do pretty much all client results, payroll, pretty much the internal part of the CRM, pretty much what, like everything that happens internal, and then Go High Levels will happen external. So pretty much would be the sales and marketing, all that good stuff. Now you need a funnel, you need a VSL application, calendar. You can do this funnel in ClickFunnels, or you can build in Go High Level, whichever one you like better, doesn't really matter. ClickFunnels more user friendly. But you can do everything. Actually, now I know you can do a lot of the things that most app softwares do. but you don't want to have, like, let's say, a software for application, a software for calendar, which is, that's what I used to do. Now I have everything inside Goha level. That's why I like the CRM, because now like the application is at Goha level, the calendar is at Goha level, and we keep everything within one software instead of having, multiple softwares do different things. Okay. Now, automation, super important. Email automation, SMS automation, Zaps for connections. Like, if you don't know what Zaps is, it's pretty much what ties your whole business together. Like, when this happens, this will happen. So when this, do this. Like, when somebody books a call with you, send all this email. When somebody sends you a text message or an IGDM, reply back to this. When somebody, let's say, cancel a call, or when somebody pays you, follow this instruction. Like, let's say when somebody pays you, give me a Slack notification, tell me that I just got paid, then follow the sequence, etc., etc. This is also more complex stuff. If you don't know automations or all the technical side, either learn it or hire somebody that does. Honestly, I'm not too technical. All this stuff I find it very boring, even though they're essential in business. But you need it for business. You need automations. You need your funnels. You need a good CRM. It's things you need in a business. Without these, you're running your business through emails, which is, Stone Age era. All right. Now, tracking software. This is more important than. Actually, I don't want to see to battle which is more important than not, because they're all equally important. Because if you don't have a funnel, you actually can't do tracking. If you don't have ads, you can't do tracking. So they're all very equally important. Meta, Facebook ads sometimes is off by 20%, 30%. Hell, sometimes being off by like 100%. It's been telling me, hey, this ad got you a result, but in reality it didn't. So you need softwares like HireWorks, and you need spreadsheets to accurately track your data. This is a mistake I see multiple of our clients make, even if they're tracking their data. A lot of our clients that we work with, over 90%, are not tracking their data. They don't know their cost per book call, the cost to acquire, the CPM, their CTR. They don't know nothing, right? So that's why we work with a lot of clients. They're starting to want to scale the business. Like, they were doing like 10, 20, 30K per month, and they want to double it or triple it. And in order to do that, you need to start tracking your KPIs. You need to know your data. If you don't have your data, you're screwed. If you're not tracking your KPIs, you're screwed. There's something you can do about it. Now you need a client portal. This is where you pretty much are going to host your program, where you're going to have all your clients in one place. There's Circle, there's School, there's Go High Level membership. You can pick whichever you want. I have both. I use Circle and I use School. They're both fantastic platforms. Just pick one. This is where you can have your curriculums. This is where you can host your community, where you can have all your clients, where they can watch your curriculums, they can watch your videos, they can interact with each other. Just pick one client portal, and it's not really that important, whatever you want. There's also Kajabi, there's Lightspeed. There's a couple of them. I just personally use Circle for my high ticket, and I use School for my lower ticket. You can also do it in Go High Level if you choose to, but it's up to you. Now, you need Docs and Drive, Slack or Discord. So Slack is where your communication hub. Discord, it could be another one. The reason why I like Slack is because you can connect Slack with a bunch of things in your business, like with the Zaps that I was talking about. You can pretty much, like, as soon as somebody joins your program and they get onboarded, you can get a Slack notification. I literally run my entire business through Slack. Like, everything that happens in my business, I get Slack notifications, and I could pretty much run the entire business through Slack. So it's something that's awesome. But you could do Discord. There's more different things. And also, you need a Google Drive. You need your whole business to be in one place. All the data, all the docs, everything, all the spreadsheet, everything needs to be in one place, so you can have everything, like all the information in your business, just pretty much, access. You can have access to all your business information on one place. Contracts. Now, you can use PandaDoc or DocuSign. I like PandaDoc, but this doesn't really matter. You can pick whichever one you like first. Do your little research about it. You don't have to go too deep, but pretty much it's your agreement, it's your contract. When somebody pays you, you need to send them out an agreement with your deliverables, or what are you guys, what is the service you provide. So you need a PandaDoc or DocuSign. Pick one. Payment processors. Very important. If you don't have a payment processor, how can you charge your clients, right? So you can use Stripe, PayPal, Fanbases. I recently just switched fully to Fanbases because I was paying Stripe like 5 to 7K per month on fees, on payment processor fees for the last 2 years and a half. So I was spending like an insane amount of money, like 50 to 60 grand a month on, not, I'm sorry, a year on fees with Stripe. It's a whole goddamn payroll. So I switched. Now I have fan bases where the payment processors is on our clients, and just every other business does the same thing. I don't know why I waited so long or didn't realize this for the past 2 years and a half. But I, my wife went to a different business. She's like, yo, I always get charged fees. Like, why do we gotta pay for our fees? And we started doing the math, and we're like, holy crap, we're paying Stripe a godly amount of money. We gotta fix this. And now we use fan bases. I think you should use too. But if you're not too worried about that, you can use Stripe or you can use PayPal. Now, team management, Monday or ClickUp. Like I said before, Monday is our internal CRM. It's where we pretty much do our client's journey, where we track our payments, where we track pretty much client success and where they're at. Pretty much everything inside the like internal in the business is Monday. But you can use ClickUp or whatever one you like. I like Monday. It's very visual pleasing. It's very good CRM. I like it a lot. Okay, now let's go to number 7, sales and application process. Decide high ticket, charge 2 or 8K for your funding services, or commission based model, get paid a percentage of the funds. This is what I was talking about earlier in the video. There's 2 models or 2 ways you can charge your client. You can do a flat fee, high ticket, charge 2 to 8. Hey, actually, honestly, I'm gonna put 10 because some of our clients I've seen charge 10 grand. So you can pitch whatever you want. If you don't feel confident in your sales skills and you don't feel confident in charging a couple $1,000s for your funding services, then do commission based. Get a small initiation fee of $500, $750, maybe $1,000, and then you can charge them 5, 8, 10, 12% of the back end. So whichever one you feel more comfortable, pick one. How I scaled my company to 300K per month, I was charging 6K offer all up front, and we're closing anywhere between 42 to 55 clients per month with that pricing structure. But you can decide which one you want to do. It's up to you. Pre-qualified leads, credit score, income, business entity, and funding needs. So pretty much before a lead talks to you, you want to know what's their credit score, what's their income, what business are they in, and how much funding they need. These are very crucial things you need to know before you even talk to a lead. Now, sales structure, you could do a 1-call close or 2-call close. One call is pretty much as soon as they see you, like they would book the initial call with you, you could close them on one call. 2, it will be a discovery call plus strategy call, meaning a setter will first call them and qualify the whole entire application, see if they're the right fit for you. If they are, then they put you into your calendar, which would be the second call, which would be the strategy call, pretty much the sales call. So you can pick which structure you want. They both work. We have clients doing both. I personally like 1-call close, pretty much a VSL funnel or a DM funnel. After they've been qualified and verified, they book a call with one of our closers, set and done. But if you want to get better quality leads, if you want to have higher show up rate, you can do a 2-step call, meaning because the first call is verifying the application, making sure they show up, and then they book it in your calendar. So it's more of a delay to actually talk to the leads that you want, but you can pick which one. I personally prefer volume, so I prefer having like 8 to 10 calls a day. Even if a couple don't show, it's okay. I'm just optimizing for volume. So, but second, a 2-call close, you have to obviously more for quality. So you instead of taking 10 calls a day, you may be taking 2, 3, or 4 of calls that your setter has already verified. So use a proven script to handle common objections. So why should I pay you when I can apply myself? What if I don't get approved, right? So these are just common objections you can deal with. If somebody says, why should I pay you instead of apply myself? It's very simple. We have nuances and insights that they don't. If they did, they would already apply themselves. I'm sure they probably maybe applied themselves and got funded for a small amount. That's why we have our services, because we know nuances and we know data points that other people don't. So that's what makes us special, and what that company gives us the edge, because most people don't know these things. What if I don't get approved? So there's certain refund policies you go through if you didn't get the funds that somebody wanted. Then of course you got to give them a refund. You don't be a scumming guy. So there's refund policies if you don't get the amount that the individual needed. but that's another video for another day. That's like we're gonna get maybe into detail of the agreements and what it looks like. Maybe I could talk about on a different video, but pretty much is like, what are your refund policies? Make sure you have those, because a lot of clients might ask, what are your refund policies? And you don't want to be there like, oh, I don't know. So you want to explain pretty much what are the things, what are the action steps you guys are going to happen if they don't get approved for the amounts they want. Okay. Number 8, fulfillment and client results. Really, really important, because you're not going to have a business if you're not getting your clients' results. Duh, right? So application intake, credit review, funding submissions, and approvals and payouts. That's pretty much the flow of it, right? So it's application intake, credit review, funding submissions, and approval. This is an oversimplified version. I can't go into completely different detail on this. This video will be 2 hours long, probably 3 hours long if I go into detail on each one. But that's essentially the flow. It's just you look at the application, you do a credit review, you submit, you create a funding sequence, you submit the application, and then approvals and payouts. Okay. Key tips: set realistic expectations upfront. Slash over promising equals refund. So don't say you're gonna get approved for $200,000 if you haven't yet to look at their profile and give like a realistic estimate. Track client success, funding amounts, time approval, and for testimonials. So pretty much once you start getting clients results, you need to start tracking this data. You need to just start tracking how long did it take from moment of them paying you to moment of them getting funded. You need to start tracking what was the amount, which banks pull from what, like how many, like you get me? So like it'll be Bank of America, we got approved 40 grand. It got funded in let's say 3 weeks. Chase, we got to approve them for another 40 grand. They got approved within 14 days or 3 weeks or whatever it may be. You want to start tracking this inside your internal CRM, let's say Monday. So let's say 6 months down the line, when you funded, let's say 50 to 60 leads, you look at that data and it will tell you, hey, this is your average funding time. This is your average funding amount. You get me? And then you can use that as your marketing. You can use that as your sales. You can use that in your VSL. When a client asks you, hey, what is your average funding limit? Hey, what is your average funding time? You wouldn't say something that like you're making up. You can literally look at your Monday CRM and say, this is the average time. This is the average amount we get funded, based on what we're tracking. So very important. If you want to be professional, you need to track every part of your business. Okay. Number 9, deliver killer client experience. So unreasonable hospitality. So there's 2 great books that you want to read if you're just starting off that are amazing, and this is all pretty much based on making clients giving the best experience possible. The one is called Unreasonable Hospitality. Read that book, very important. The second one is called Never Lose a Customer Again. So pretty much it's making the customer experience so great that they just based on the experience, they're really comfortable working with you. That's what the vibe you want to give off. You want to create an experience for somebody from the moment they get to know you to the moment you're offboard them. They go, wow, this was a really pleasant experience. They were really thoughtful. They're really hands-on. They're very human. I didn't feel like just another number or another sale. You need to create an amazing experience for these individuals if you want to have a business that lasts. Remember, if you want to build something great, you want to start making a 5-year plan, right? Because you want to be here for the next 5 to 10 years. So start doing the things that create a brand and builds a business that lasts. And creating an unforgettable client experience will deliver that, because positive word of mouth will compound. People will talk about your good experience. People will give you referrals if you give them a good, good experience through the whole entire process. Like, hey, this guy got me funded X amount. You should really work with him. It was awesome. They're really good people. I highly recommend them. Boom, you get a referral. This happens slowly, but it will happen eventually. So make sure you're conscious of this when you're first running your business. Am I delivering an unforgettable experience to my clients? If you are, great. And those books, there's gonna give you a couple of tactics or a couple like ideas of how to create that. Make sure you start implementing those things into your service. Okay. Automations, milestone, your first approval came in. Reminder for documents, call, and text. Collect testimonials early, your best marketing asset. So pretty much as soon as somebody starts getting approved, you want to start getting testimonials and screenshots so you can use that on your VSL, so you can use all that on your landing page, so you can use that on your marketing, on your ads, and start creating case studies, right? The more case studies, the more testimonials, the more overwhelming proof you have of what you say is true, the more people want to work with you, the more authority you build in the space, because people want to work with people or businesses that already know that we're doing and that we're just saying is true. And how do you do that? By creating overwhelming evidence of you getting results to clients. All right. So we could go very deep on that, but we'll talk about that in a different video. Okay. 10. Scale smart. Hire for growth. Setter, closer, admin, assistant. So if you want to start scaling, you pretty much need 3 people to hire. So the main one will be the setter. This you want to hire around 20 or 30K per month, because instead of you confirming all the appointments, making sure everybody's qualified, making sure everybody shows up, that takes time from your day. Especially if you start doing 4 calls a day plus, you want to have a setter involved there that they could not only qualify the appointments, they can make sure the appointments are showing up, and they watch your VSLs, they watch all the content assets that you gave them, so they could show up to the call more prepared and all the information they may need about you and your business and your services. Very important. The second is a closer. Now, this is around 60 to 80K per month. You want to hire a closer because once you start scaling, you're going to have a time constraint in the business, meaning you're not going to scale beyond a certain point due to the fact that there's not enough time in the day. You can have a bunch of sales calls, onboarding calls, and fulfillment calls, right? You're not going to scale. You're going to have pretty much your calendar slammed with 8 to 10 calls a day. Impossible to scale. Now you can do 2 things: either hire a fulfillment department, which, like I said, it could be us, it could be somebody, it could be whatever you want, or you can train somebody to be your fulfillment. But you either hire a closer or hire fulfillment, whichever comes easier. You cannot scale with if you don't hire one of these. It will take literally 50% off the workload, right? The closer and the fulfillment is the most time commitment out of the business, because sales calls could take anywhere between, at the low end, 20 minutes, at the high end, 45 minutes. So if you're taking a couple calls of those a day, plus your onboarding and fulfillment calls, you can easily start getting, just you're slammed. There's no room for you to even work more, because there's not enough time in the day. So this is where you have to start hiring. You need to either hire a closer or hire fulfillment. Pick one. Okay. Automate everything possible. Onboarding, follow-up, document requests. So this is just simple automation that you got to do, but you got to start automating your business. As soon as you see something that you've been doing that task multiple times, ask ChatGPT, ask somebody that already is in the industry, hey, do you have this part of the business automated? What tools are you using? Usually you can automate most things, especially how AI is taking over. You can definitely automate a bunch of different things. Okay. Ad offer. Credit repair, monetize unqualified leads, H corps, funding guaranteed, or guarantee, funding guarantees, or performance-based pricing. Okay, so what am I talking about here? So if you're just doing funding, or if you're doing a credit repair you have a credit repair company and you want to have funding, you already have the credit repair side of the business. What I'm trying to say here? When you generate leads for funding, over 90% of the leads are not going to qualify. When you're selling money, everybody wants money. So a bunch of people are going to click on your ad or click on your reel or book a call with you, but they're not really qualified. They don't have the right credit profile, which is one of the main things they need if they want to get funded. If you want a credit repair business, this is perfect, because all those leads that they were not going to get funded, now they can get funded because you can fix their credit. So you're essentially increasing your LTV, your lifetime value per deal, per client, because you're providing 2 services instead of 1: credit repair and then funding. You can either bundle the service up together, and this is some of our clients are charging $10,000 because they're bundling the both services together, but it's up to you. Another one could be H Corp. This is something I see a few clients do. I personally never done it, but they're selling H Corp, something you can do as well. Now, funding guarantees or performance-based pricing. So this is what you could do. You can guarantee up to a certain amount, let's say 60 or 80K, right? And then after a certain point, you can do performance-based pricing. We've seen a couple clients do this, which is the hybrid offer, which means, hey, pay me $5,000, I'm gonna guarantee you 80 grand. Anything above 100 grand, I'm gonna charge you 3%, something like that. So it's a hybrid offer. You could definitely do something like this just to increase how much you make per client. Instead of just making $5,000 per client, you can now do $5,000 plus another 3%. It could be another $1,000 or $2,000 extra for your services. Okay. Now let's talk about key metrics. This is something that you're probably, since you're starting off, you're most likely going to forget these numbers, but when you're scaling, this is something you absolutely have to be ingrained in your mind. Okay, so key metrics to track when you're scaling: one, cost per book call, CPBC. So pretty much, what is that? Once you start running ads, or even if you're doing content, you can quantify your content, but in this scenario, we're gonna talk about ads. Once you start running ads, you're gonna start booking calls. Hopefully, if you do everything right. Now, when you start booking calls, you gotta divide how many calls you booked by how much money you spend. So let's say if you spend $900 on ad set in 3 days, and you book 3 calls, that means you're booking calls at $300 per book call. Simple math. So what is the ideal cost per book call? Anywhere between $100 to $300 per book call. You're golden. You can make a lot of money with it. Okay. Closing rate. This is very important too. What I said earlier in the video. If you don't have a good closing rate, you will not succeed in any business, to be honest, especially in the high tech world. It needs to be at least a 30% closing rate. This is ideal. You can make money at 25. You can make money at 27. But if you're doing 30% plus, you're definitely making money. Okay, so this is the goal where you should aim to. So when you start doing sales, and hey, if you start and you're below 20%, that's normal. Most people, when they start, they're below 20%, but you want to aim to a 30%. All right. Now, average funding per client. This is anywhere between 50 to 100K per month. I mean, 100K, 150K per client, anywhere in between. Honestly, the average we've seen consistently that people want is anywhere between, I would say 72, 75 to like 90 something. But when we advertise, we say 50 to 150. And if they want more than that, we go into different verticals of funding. So if somebody wants 200, 300, 400, we go into lines of credit and MTAs, revenue-based lending and stuff like that. But this is pretty much what we advertise, 50 to 150, okay? Lifetime value, combined funding, clear repair, and upsell. So pretty much if you want to start increasing LTV, a very important thing to track is, okay, we're going to provide them with credit repair. Okay, we're going to provide them with LC optimization or restructuring. We're going to provide them with funding. We're going to provide them with let's say with an H corp, so they can maximize, double or triple their improvement. We can also sell them maybe different verticals of funding. We could also sell them. There's just so many different things that you could do, but you want to lay down all your services and see what you can offer. Okay, we're gonna offer credit repair. We're gonna offer LC optimization. We're gonna offer funding. We're gonna offer whatever thing, maybe some tax if you're in the tax thing space, right? And then now you're increasing LTV per client, so you can make let's say if you're doing the tax thing, every year you now have income for your clients, right? So that's a way to increase LTV. So this is something that you really want to keep in mind, because this will dramatically increase your ROAS. Instead of your ROAS being a 5x, it could be a 10x, because you not only got the client funded, but you did credit repair, you sold them an H corp, you did their taxes, you did multiple service of pretty much that helps entrepreneurs. All right. Now, common mistakes to avoid. This is something that we've seen time and time again. At this point, we worked with over hundreds, I think over 300 funding and credit companies. So we've seen these mistakes over and over again. Number one, relying only on organic, no predictability. I know ads could get expensive. I know that organic seems very, very sexy because, hey, I just got to create a bunch of videos and hopefully I make a sale. But the key word there is hopefully. Not always you're going to make a sale. Not always going to be consistent. Not always going to be predictable. So don't always rely on organic. Most of our clients that we deal with, they're literally, hey, they come from the world of, hey, I'm relying on referrals and or a little bit organic and it's a little word of mouth. I'm closing like 2 to 4 deals per month. I can't survive this. How can I get more? I want to scale the company. So that's why I don't just rely on this, because it's very unpredictable. 2, selling unqualified leads, selling to unqualified leads. This is what I mean. If you sell somebody with a 600 credit score, you're gonna have a bad time unless you're gonna do the credit repair and some few optimizations. Don't do this. If you sell to somebody that doesn't have the right LLC or the right credit optimize or credit score, you're gonna have a horrible time. It's going to take you months to get somebody funded. So unless you don't have the credit repair aspect part of the business, I wouldn't even dare coming close to this. For us, for to example, we only close 2% of the people reach out to us. Why? Because we don't do credit repair. I strictly just do done with you funding and a little bit of done for you funding, and that's all I did. Now, a lot of the clients that we work with do have credit repairs that are adding funding, so you could definitely create a hybrid offer with somebody who has a low credit score. But if you don't have that type of service, I wouldn't close anybody who has horrible credit, because it's going to be a bad time for both of you guys. Okay. Now, not tracking ad spend versus revenue. So pretty much just not tracking at all. You know, what you can't track, you can't measure, you can control. And most people, I mean, at least that I'm aware of, want to be in control of your business, right? And how can you be in control of something if you don't know the percentages, if you don't know the KPIs, you pretty much don't know what are the indicators of the business to make good decisions, to make more profitable decisions. Like, you're pretty much moving out of emotions if you're not tracking your numbers. That's why it's very important to do. Now, there's another one, offering too many funding products before mastering it. There's something that is starting to happen recently, because people, they understand now that you need multiple verticals. If you want to start doing $500,000 per month, $1 million per month, and plus, you need multiple verticals of funding. Now, this is way ahead of you. So, like, for you to do even $1 million per month, you got to first get to even 10 or 20K per month. But this is a mistake that I see a lot of clients having 10 different offers, but they only truly know one. So here's how pretty much how to fix this. You either partner up with people in that vertical of the product, or you master one by one and then you offer that product. All right. Make sure you know like all the ins and outs, everything that you need in order to make the right decision. If not, don't do this. This is a mistake that I see a lot of people make, that they just want to increase LTV, but they can't really talk the language of the new offer or the new product. Make sure you do not one of these people. Like, it just feels scammy, right? Like, you just learned something yesterday and you're trying to sell it today. Like, I don't like that. It rubs me the wrong way. Try to learn as much as possible one of the products, but then you can sell it. Or find a partner or a white labeling company that they could either white label or partner with you. So when you do sell somebody multiple funding offers, let's say credit repair, and you don't have a credit repair company, where you partner up with a credit repair company to remove late payments, to remove hard inquiries, to remove collections or whatever. So now you can offer those services without like doing the huge learning curve. So that's how you solve that. If you do offer multiple products, make sure the person you are partnering with or the individual you trusted is worth their salt and actually giving your client the best experience possible. Because again, they're a reflection of your company. If they do a bad job, they think you did a bad job, and they're not gonna know that, oh, that's just a company that I just, so like give them your information, and it's just kind of weird. So make sure if you do go with this route that servicing multiple offers, that the person delivering on those offers is actually somebody worth you can trust and actually has results and proof. So you ask him, hey, how many people have you helped? How many people have you funded? What's the last time you fund somebody? How much did they get? Can I talk to this individual? I want to know what was their experience before you trust somebody with your brand. Okay, this is a mistake I see often people make. Everybody these days wants to partner up. Everybody wants to white label. Everybody wants to delegate every part of their fucking business, but they don't really understand these things. Stop delegating things you don't understand. Okay, you need to understand it to a level. Let's say from 1 to 10, you want to be a 4 or 5 or 6. So then when you do delegate to somebody, and then you do find somebody worth their salt, they're like a 7, 8, or 9. Somebody you can actually trust, someone who's experienced in that side of the business. Okay, so don't make this mistake. A lot of people do this mistake, and it's not good. Okay, so what is your roadmap for the next 90 days? Phase 1, 0 to 30 days. Choose the business model. So pretty much done with you, done for you, or do it yourself, right? And pick the funding offer. Learn one funding product. Build the funnel plus CRM. Again, if you don't know how to build funnels in CRM, DM me on Instagram or somewhere. You can leave a comment, be like, and then we try to contact each other, or emails. Hey, tell me, hey, Javi, I really need my funnels and CRM built, and we'll try to give you, the best price possible. If anything I could do at a cost, it could be a favor. If you're already watching this video up to this late, I'll do you the favor. Look, I'll charge you just exactly what it costs me, which is around $470, and I'll build you the funnel and the CRMs and that. I'm only probably gonna do this maybe a couple times. So if you are seeing this video, have urgency, because if more than 10 people reach me out to me, I'm not going to do this to my team, and I don't want to deal with a lot of the headaches. So like, I'm probably going to do this for 3 to 5 people. So if you really want your funnel built and you're starting off, you want the right CRM and funnel, just DM me and be like, hey, Abby, I just saw your video of how to start a funding company and all the roadmaps and stuff like that. I saw that you're offering the funnel build for a very, very, very cheap offer. I cost pretty much what it cost me to build everything. And it's not even me. I have to pay this team. So I'm not even keeping all the money. But I'll do you that huge favor, okay, for you staying this long into the video and watching the whole thing, okay? Now, phase 2, from 31 days to 60. Launch organic content, run ads at $30, $50 a day, close your first to second client, okay? So after you understand the product, after you build your funnel, and after you show the business model, you need to start generating traffic. So this is pretty much phase 2. How do I get clients? So either launch a huge organic campaigns, pretty much set up for the next 60 to 90 days, a reel or a post and a story every day, be consistent, and then also start an ad budget very small at $20 to $50 a day of running ads. And if you're struggling with this, then again, this is exactly what we do. You can, if you have enough capital to invest in yourself, you can join our program and we'll help you do this. Make sure you have you're guided correctly to do this, because running ads is not easy. It could take all your money. And Facebook is not gonna let you know, hey, by the way, you're losing a shit ton of money. Stop running ads, okay? The Facebook, just if you leave it on and you don't know what to do, you're gonna get fucked. I guarantee. It happens to a lot of our clients. They're like, hey, I already spent like $6,000, nothing worked. Where did I go wrong? Okay. Phase 3, collect testimonial, scale ads, hire part-time setter or VA. So actually, I'm going to remove VA because I feel like when I say VA, I feel like people are like, okay, so just a $3 person in Colombia or the Philippines. That's not what I mean. You get me? I don't want somebody that like is a reputation of your business to be getting paid $2 an hour, could barely speak English, doesn't fully understand your dream, your business, your services. Like, doesn't fully understand that, and then hire somebody that actually understands the offer, actually understands your brand, actually wants to build something with you long term. And actually cares for the business. This way, when they call the leads that you have, they could tell it's that somebody's, a real person on the other side. I'm not saying that a VA in the Philippines is not real, but you know what I mean? Like, somebody's like, okay, this is not like some guy that barely knows English and I could barely understand it, or maybe there's a huge time difference that for me, for them is daytime, and for me is day, and for when it's nighttime for me, for them is day. It's just like, it's very, 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 very messy in my personal belief. Okay. So this is pretty much what you should do and start doing is days 61 to 90. Once you already build out the funnel, once you already picked up the offer, once you already have a bunch of organic content out, you already made your first, second sale, it's time to get more of those already working. So time to start putting out testimonials, time to start scaling the ads, and time to start hiring. All right. And that's pretty much it. So that's everything you need. That's all the fundamentals you need to start your funding company correctly. I hope you got tremendous value of this video. I know it's a bit long. There was a lot to cover. I actually have something that I've been working on for the last 4 months and a half. I don't know when you're gonna see this video, but this video was September 2nd. I've been working on a project that has been doing a lot of work, honestly, a lot of work. I've been working 3 to 4 hours a day for almost 5 months on it. And the whole thing is just for people to start the funding company. So it's going to be something very exciting. I'm going to go into great details on all of these things and a lot more. I don't want to mention what it is yet because I want it to be a surprise, but keep waiting for that. I'm going to drop it. I'm hoping to finish it next month. So in another 60 days or so, it should be done. So maybe around like end of October, I'll be releasing it. But I think you guys are going to get tremendous value with it. And I'm also going to give you some bonuses when you do see this thing. So very excited for you guys there. I'm going to be mentioning it very soon, but it's pretty much going to cover all this stuff to pretty much as much as possible. But I hope you already got a lot of value out of this one. You learn as much as possible. Please do these things, do your own research. Just because I say all these things doesn't mean you have to, set and forget. Business is nuanced. Business is always evolving. You do have to do your own research. You do have to do a lot of the heavy lifting when it comes to about learning all this stuff. But hey, it's a business. And if you want financial freedom, it's not going to be easy. It's going to be either, pick your heart, either working a 9 to 5, which is difficult and very stressful, or start your own thing, which is also difficult and stressful. But at least with this, you have a nice blueprint and a nice guide of what are the fundamentals you need to get started. All right, everyone, that's enough for me today. I already have yapped for a long time, almost 54 minutes, and I don't want to take more of your time. I'll see you guys on the next one.